head into the 2023 election, we want to make sure you at home have all of the information you need to make informed decisions on the initiatives and the people you're voting for. It's so important. So for the next few months, we'll be doing a weekly roundtable tackling those topics. Joining me now are political analyst Kathy Allen here, who is a Democrat, and then we have Randy Pepple, who is a Republican. Thank you so much for joining me again, you guys. So it seems like for this election cycle, the theme is competition. A lot of these incumbents have a lot of challengers. So would you agree with that?
I would. I certainly would. In taking a look at it, people who have been long-time actual incumbents, they're being challenged in the smallest of places, like Marion and Renton and Bellevue, all of these places that are usually never have a challenger in these races, and they all do. To say nothing of also the number of incumbents that have decided not to run, and the number of, particularly here in Seattle, that have decided not to run. 4 open seats. That's pretty special.
So, Randy, why do you think that is, though? Why is this year so different from other years?
Because voters are dissatisfied. And when voters are dissatisfied, incumbents get nervous. And that's why, as Kathy said, 4 city council incumbents didn't even file for re-election. And one of the 3 that did is running far under 50% in the primary. 2 others barely eked it out over 50%. So, I mean, incumbents are running scared, and that's because people are dissatisfied. They see high gas prices. They see inflation. They're worried about their health care situation. I mean, there's just a lot of angst out there, and that drives competition because people are stepping forward and saying, I have a better idea.
So both of you guys surprisingly agreed previous to the primaries. You said, look, these incumbents, especially in Seattle City Council, that's the most interesting race, and we're going to have these incumbents, the 3 that are still running, they're going to have a challenge. But when you look at the results from the primary, it's still 2 of them scraped up more than 50% of the vote.
But that's not the truth anymore.
It's not the truth.
Well, it's just changed. We just saw that in all of these cases, those 3 incumbents are actually now being overspent, that there's more money that has flowed into those challengers races in all 3 of them. And more importantly, when it comes to the democracy vouchers where everyone in Seattle who's a registered voter gets $100 worth of coupons, you know, those are why these candidates now not only look hungry, but they have been getting more democracy vouchers, which makes them get more money in terms of these campaigns. They now have momentum, I think, that is actually going to make changes in the actual outcome.
But when you look at Seattle voters, Randy, it's interesting because, you know, this is a heavily blue area. And it's not a matter of, I mean, can conservative candidates even get into the mix here, especially in Seattle City Council?
No. And that's not a question that voters are going to be deciding. I mean, there are no conservatives running. There are no moderates running in Seattle. The question is, are you a left-wing Democrat or a far left-wing Democrat or a socialist or something other than that? And this year, we still have one of the socialists out there. We have a lot of far left-wingers, and we have some that are just going, well, I'm just a left-wing Democrat. The media, to a certain degree, the print media anyway, focuses on them as, oh, they must be moderates. They are not by any political definition. However, from the voters' definition, they've already chased 4 incumbent city council members out of running for re-election. The 3 that are remaining are not running on the ideas that got them there, if you will. They are trying to figure out, is there any way the voters will stay with me?
Yeah. I want to go back to what Kathy pointed out, though. Yes, there is more money going to these challengers, but when you look at people like Tammy Morales and then Dan Strauss, they do have more than 50% of the votes going in. They're sitting pretty, don't you think?
Well, they're sitting with 52% of the vote in a primary. The vote from the primary to the general election is going to double, so twice as many voters will turn out. They've still got to convince those voters who didn't care enough in the primary to vote that they should be supported. And that's where the danger is for incumbents when you're at that mark. And then the third one, Andrew Lewis, the councilman who's down at 43%. I mean, again, he faces a very, very tough road. And that's because voters are dissatisfied.
Yeah. Kathy, we've got 30 seconds.
Yes.
Do you think more people will be driven to, you know, to vote this year around because of all of the issues that we're seeing?
I certainly do. In fact, you know, where the actual turnout in the primary was 30%.
Right.
It was 40% in Seattle.
Yeah.
I think
higher than normal.
Yes, change happens when we have a higher voting turnout than the rest of the state. I think that we're going to see not only close races, but these incumbents now have to actually start campaigning. These people that have been going door to door all summer since the primary, they are starting to actually have the momentum, and I think that most of us are going to be following them.
Yeah, Kathy and Randy, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for being here. All right, so if you have topics you want to, help break down, we can do that for you. Be sure to reach out to us on social media at Fox 13 Seattle.